Adrenaline is one thing, but these places demand your nerve, balance, and sanity. From Kilimanjaro's skin-on-water plunge to Malaysia's see-through slide lit like a sci-fi trap, you'll wish fear had a pause button. These attractions don't just thrill, they dare you to survive. Brace yourself for the 20 extreme tourist attractions that will test your nerves. Kilimanjaro. Drop 16 stories in under 5 seconds and your brain doesn't scream, it short circuits. That's Kilimanjaro, the tallest body water slide on Earth, slashing through the Brazilian skyline at a brutal 163 feet. This isn't some flashy prop. It's a hulking slab of speed welded into a hillside at Aldeia das Águas Park Resort in Rio de Janeiro. Built by Blue Wave in 1999, it held the world record for tallest drop until 2014, lost it to Verrucht, and then reclaimed it in 2016 when Verrucht shut down permanently. Since then, Kilimanjaro's held the crown and doesn't look like it's letting go anytime soon. The ride starts with a closed tunnel section, tossing in a tiny pre-drop just to mess with your nerves. Then it flattens for a second before tipping into a vicious 60-degree incline. That's when the slide opens up and all hell breaks loose. Riders hit 62 miles an hour with just raw skin and water grinding through gravity's grip. By the time you hit the bottom, your spine's still negotiating terms with your brain. The name says mountain, but the ride, it's pure vertical warfare. And Kilimanjaro isn't about thrills, it's about surviving the fall. Malaysia Tower Glass, Sky City Glass Slide, Malaysia towering over Shah Alam. Malaysia, the Sky City Glass Slide fuses architectural innovation with full-throttle adrenaline. This is no ordinary slide. Stretching 600 meters long and beginning 60 meters above ground, it spirals around the Sky City Tower in a completely transparent tube, offering an unfiltered, vertigo-inducing view of the city below. The slide starts with tight loops that build speed and intensity, pushing riders through exposed curves that make you feel like you're floating mid-air. By day, it dazzles with panoramic views. By night, it transforms into a glowing wormhole of motion. Hundreds of embedded LEDs pulse through the clear tube, creating a sci-fi light show as you race downward. Every twist amplifies the sensation of height, speed, and vulnerability. And unlike traditional water slides, Sky City requires no swimwear. You ride in raincoats, fully dressed, as water jets power you through the loops. Malaysia's first and longest glass water slide is a visual thrill and psychological test. It trades the comfort of concealment for full exposure, where the line between excitement and fear disappears with every loop. Sky City isn't just a ride, it's a transparent roller coaster of nerves suspended in the sky. Vertigo and Fractionator Qatar. Standing at a brutal 250 feet and 4 inches, Vertigo isn't a water slide, it's a vertical warning shot. Anchored in the heart of Mariel Water Park in Lusail, Qatar, this beast opened in late 2023 and wasted zero time climbing to the top. At 76.309 meters tall, Vertigo is officially tied as the tallest water slide on Earth, sharing the crown with its equally massive twin, Fractionator. But this isn't a friendly rivalry. It's a two-headed monster, and Vertigo is the one with the trapdoor. Built by Whitewater West, Vertigo doesn't let riders ease into the drop. It yanks them into it. Riders step into a sealed capsule, standing vertical with nothing but nerves and water beneath their feet. Then, click, the floor vanishes.
3, 2, 1.
Gravity sucker punches your body as you plummet straight down a near-vertical shaft at speeds that leave your vision vibrating. The ride is pure freefall, powered by nothing but physics and a complete absence of fear. From that height, it's not about sliding, it's about surviving impact. The tower looms over Lusail like a launch silo, and once you're in, there's no way out but down. Insano, Brazil. Built to terrify and engineered to dominate, Insano is Brazil's original vertical scream. Towering 135 feet above Beach Park's coast, this monster isn't just tall, it's the tallest freestanding body slide on Earth. A sheer drop from a platform perched like a diving board over the Atlantic wind. Launched in 1989, it held the Guinness record for the tallest waterslide for a full decade, until Kilimanjaro overtook it in 1999. But unlike Kilimanjaro, Insano stands solo. The ride is over in seconds, but those seconds hit like a freight train. Riders fall at 65 miles per hour, just pure speed. The drop is so steep your body barely touches the slide until you level out at the bottom, where water slams into skin like pavement wrapped in splash. Beach Park, home to Insano, doesn't do small. It's the biggest water park in South America and one of the largest on the planet. But even surrounded by world-class rides, Insano looms above everything like a monument to controlled madness. US Bank Tower Sky Slide. 1,000 feet above downtown Los Angeles, a glass tube clings to the outside of the city's tallest tower like a dare in daylight. The Sky Slide isn't long, just 45 feet, but length was never the point. It's the position. Bolted to the exterior of the US Bank Tower, it carries riders from the 70th to the 69th floor in a fully transparent chute with nothing between them and the skyline but an inch of engineered glass. The process looks simple. Sit on a mat, push forward, let gravity do the rest. But the reality is a disorienting rush. The curve of the slide hurls your body against the barrier, while below, the streets of LA blur into a dizzy sprawl of motion. It lasts only seconds, yet the exposure makes those seconds feel stretched, like freefall on fast forward. Built as part of the Sky Space renovation, the Sky Slide was designed to withstand high winds, seismic tremors, and thousands of riders daily. It doesn't creak, flex, or falter. And that's the trick. The structure is unshakable, but your nerves aren't. At the bottom, an open-air platform offers panoramic views across the basin. But ask anyone, most will admit it's not the view they remember. It's the moment their stomach dropped before they did. Dubai Glass Slide. In Dubai, even fear is dressed in glass and steel. The Skyviews Observatory, perched 219.5 meters above the city, is not just an observation deck. It's a gauntlet of nerve tests designed to strip away your comfort zone piece by piece. It begins innocently enough with the elevator. But this is no ordinary ride. The floor is glass, the walls are glass, and as you ascend, the sprawling city drops away beneath your shoes. By the time the doors open, your pulse is already racing. Step out and you're greeted by a 25-meter glass plank walkway, a clear ledge jutting into thin air with nothing but the Burj Khalifa towering above and traffic crawling below. Then comes the main event, the Sky Slide.
No.
It's a 12-meter-long transparent tube bolted to the outside of the tower, linking floors 53 and 52. You launch in, the world tilts, and gravity hurls you along the curve while the skyline smears around you like a fever dream. Engineered in Germany with 4 layers of reinforced glass, it doesn't bend, creak, or forgive. It simply delivers. For those who still crave more, the Edgewalk waits. Harnessed but unshielded, you circle the tower's rim in open air, 720 feet up. This isn't sightseeing. This is survival in luxury, Dubai style. Insanity Ride USA. Spin the roulette wheel, then step into the sky. This beast didn't just test nerves, it torched them. Insanity clamped riders into a claw-like arm, then swung them outside the edge of the strat, dangling them over 900 feet of unforgiving Vegas concrete. Then came the real punch. The arm tilted forward, 70 degrees, forcing faces down toward the strip like a meat hook over a trap door. As the ride spun at 40 miles per hour, the desert air sliced past like a wind tunnel of pure panic, turning stomachs inside out and smiles into screams. From that angle, it wasn't a view. It was a threat. Neon lights became a dizzy smear, and the ground below looked like a closing target. The mechanical arm hissed and growled like it knew what it was doing, mocking every instinct to survive, stretching adrenaline to its thinnest thread. Even seasoned thrill junkies walked off with jelly legs and 1,000-yard stares, blinking back into reality like they'd just escaped something primal. Insanity shut down in 2023, but for nearly 2 decades, it wasn't just a ride. It was a dare written in steel. Sky jump at the stratosphere. This isn't freefall. This is controlled chaos at terminal velocity. Sky Jump drops bodies from 829 feet above the Vegas Strip. Riders suit up, clip in, and step to the brink of the Strat's Skypod, staring down a vertical path of pure commitment. The crew gives the nod. One breath, one step, and gravity takes over.
Oh my God!
The world flips, skin stretches, heart rate spikes. There's not any rail or seat, just a cable, guide wires, and a decelerator that boosts in just before the ground becomes a problem. It's not quite skydiving, not quite bungee, it's the industrial-grade middle finger of urban thrill rides. The descent hits over 40 miles per hour in seconds, slicing through dry desert air while the city below rushes into frame like a bad decision you can't undo. By the time your brain catches up, you're already landing, shaking, alive, and wondering what the hell just happened. This isn't a roller coaster. It's not a drop tower. This is a stunt disguised as tourism. Sky Jump still runs daily, and the Guinness World Record for highest commercial decelerator descent still stands because no one's crazy enough to beat Vegas at its own game. X Scream Thrill Ride. X Scream doesn't ride the edge. It is the edge. Perched 866 feet in the air, this steel menace launches riders 27 feet over the side of the Strat like a jet-powered diving board. It's not about speed. It's about sudden drops, violent stops, and a primal panic that comes in when you realize the track ends and there's nothing but air beneath your feet. The car crawls forward like it's teasing you, then slams ahead over the ledge, suspending riders in space with the skyline sprawling below. Just as your brain screams falling, the brakes engage, hard. Then it jerks back, resets, and does it all again, each pass faster and more ruthless than the last. The 68-foot track tilts and rocks with brutal unpredictability, making the structure feel unstable by design. Every lurch is a gut punch, every moment over the edge a calculated attack on your fight-or-flight response. The ride doesn't care about loops or inversions. It strips roller coasters down to raw psychological warfare. Secured by titanium lap bars and 4 redundant locking systems, X Scream pushes fear to the breaking point with clinical precision. Hudson Yards, USA. Steel stairs, open sky, and 1,000 feet of exposure, City Climb doesn't just challenge nerves, it escalates them. This skyscraping ascent hauls climbers up the spine of 30 Hudson Yards, scaling exposed platforms and outdoor staircases bolted into the side of a 1,271-foot tower. After a full safety lock-in, the route surprises with The Cliff, an outdoor perch hovering 1,190 feet above the streets of Manhattan. That's just the warm-up. Next is The Stair, a lung-busting 161-step incline at a 45-degree angle, angled like a launch pad straight into the clouds. At the summit, the view is brutal in its clarity. Concrete grids, river reflections, and a vertical drop that leaves the brain scrambling for stability. Then comes the signature move, the lean out. Climbers step forward and tilt off the platform into open air, held only by their harness and the wind roaring through the canyons of glass and steel. It's pure exposure, calibrated for maximum psychological impact. The climb ends on Edge's sky deck with a citywide view, a champagne toast, and legs that may or may not be working. This is the tallest external building climb on the planet, and New York built it to leave a mark. The Edge Walk, Canada. Steel underfoot, city at your feet, sky pressing in from all sides, Edgewalk isn't just an attraction. It's an aerial standoff between you and the sky. Suspended 1,168 feet above Toronto, this 5-foot-wide steel platform circles the CN Tower's upper ring like a narrow catwalk strapped to a missile silo. Participants are strapped into harnesses and attached to an overhead rail system, but there's no railing, no cage, just wind, nerves, and open air. The walk covers 150 meters around the tower, giving an uninterrupted 360-degree view of the city, Lake Ontario, and the terrifying drop below. But the real mind-bender is the lean out. With guides shouting instructions, you're asked to tip forward or backward over the edge, held only by your tether. It's not a suggestion, it's part of the experience.
Good, and then you can lean back a little bit there, let go of that rope, and just like that.
Leaning your full body over the void flips every primal instinct into overdrive. What sets Edgewalk apart isn't just the height, it's the exposure. Just a solid steel path suspended in the wind. Even hardened thrill seekers admit it shakes them. The platform doesn't move, but your knees will. From seasoned climbers to daring tourists, everyone comes off Edgewalk changed. This is the world's highest full-circle hands-free walk, and it's designed to shred comfort zones and rewire your sense of vertical reality.
Let's dive in. It's finally time for the open discussion.
This is the scariest attraction in all of the world, a water slide hanging thousands of feet above a bustling skyline. Would you dare to zoom down a slick yellow tube with nothing but glass and gravity below you? One wrong turn and you're soaring over a city instead of splashing into a pool. Where is this death-defying thrill ride? And who designed such a nerve-wracking masterpiece? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to mention #OpenDiscussion. Canyon Swing, Switzerland. This is the moment stillness dies. One step off a steel platform suspended above a glacier canyon, and the world disappears into speed. The Grindelwald Canyon Swing doesn't build suspense, it detonates it. Jumpers drop 50 meters straight down before the line catches, yanking them into a massive arc that carves through a cathedral of stone and ice at 120 kilometers per hour. There's no countdown, just wind, rope, and a free fall that hijacks the nervous system. The swing doesn't glide, it lunges, whipping you back and forth like a pendulum in a stone throat. The alpine backdrop isn't just scenic, it's menacing in its scale. Towering cliffs, thunderous silence, peaks that watch without blinking. Below, the Lucina River rages past sharp boulders, indifferent to human panic. Guides run the show with Swiss-level precision. Every strap double-checked, every movement calibrated to give fear a structure and thrill a sharp edge. Glass bridge, slide, China. Some bridges connect places. This one dares you to cross your own limits. Spanning 430 meters across a gorge in the Zhangjiajie Grand Canyon, this glass-bottom bridge suspends visitors nearly 1,000 feet above a valley carved in stone and mist. The deck is clear from end to end, 6 meters wide, paneled with high-strength composite glass, engineered to take the weight of tanks and the nerves of tourists. One step on, and the forest drops away. Waterfalls plunge below, cliffs tower around, and your feet float over emptiness so vivid it feels unreal. The walkway flexes just enough to remind you it's alive, a structure suspended between steel cables and human will. Forget handrails for comfort, this bridge trades security for exposure, transforming a quiet canyon into a full-body thrill. Engineers staged sledgehammer tests and let vehicles roll across to prove its strength, but it's the sound of your own heart that really measures the moment. Completed in 2016, Zhangjiajie Glass Bridge remains the longest and highest of its kind in the world. Pantherian, US. The feeling of being hunted has never been built into steel, until now. Rising 305 feet over jungle expedition, this towering machine is designed not to thrill but to strike, coiled like a predator waiting in silence. The climb lures riders into a false sense of control, dragging them skyward on a rattling chain, but the illusion shatters at the summit. Without warning, the track pitches forward into a 300-foot, 85-degree plunge that delivers the kind of drop only nature's fiercest hunters could inspire. The pace is relentless. Within seconds, the train rips across the track at nearly 90 miles per hour, diving into airtime hills that launch bodies against restraint and carving through sudden directional shifts that slam every instinct into survival mode. There is only raw velocity, sharp geometry, and unforgiving precision. Every curve bites, every dive claws, and every second feels alive with the rhythm of pursuit. Since its debut in 2010, Pantherian has reigned as the apex of East Coast coasters. It doesn't ask for screams, it demands them, tearing through riders with a speed and force that feels almost predatory. What begins as a ride ends as an escape, leaving adrenaline flooding like prey that just slipped from the grip of a hunter. Donnerkogel Klettersteig. Metal bites into rock. Harness locked. One step, then another. Nothing but air beneath. This isn't hiking. It's climbing the Donnerkogel Klettersteig, Austria's iron path to insanity. Set in the craggy heights above Gosau, this Class C/D Via Ferrata turns tourists into mountaineers, clipping, scaling, and scrambling their way up vertical limestone. 3 hours of exposure, altitude, and pure edge. Every hold counts. Every slip has consequences. But tucked into this already brutal ascent is the kind of feature that earns legend status: a 131-foot steel ladder suspended between two summits. Locals call it the Stairway to Heaven. It's not poetic, it's brutal. One misstep and it's just metal, mist, and your heartbeat in your ears. Start to finish, it's a grind. Clipped to cables, skirting drop-offs, pushing for the 6,739-foot summit of the Grosser Donnerkogel. It begins at Gablonzer Hütte and ends in panoramic silence. Just you and a 360-degree spread of alpine chaos. Even the descent demands respect. A 90-minute hike down the backside. Legs burning. Mind still up on the ladder. Skydeck ledge, Chicago. One step forward, 4.3 feet into the void, and suddenly Chicago drops away. This isn't a view, it's a free fall in slow motion. Suspended 1,353 feet above the streets on the 103rd floor of Willis Tower, the ledge rips the floor out from under expectations. 5 glass boxes jut from the side of one of America's tallest buildings, daring thrill seekers to stand where the skyline lives. There's no platform, no rail, no bluff, just half an inch of laminated glass between you and open air. People freeze, knees lock. Some can't do it. Others step out, look down, and grin like lunatics. The structure doesn't flinch. Triple-layered glass, rated to hold 10,000 pounds. Built for impact, engineered for panic. Even retracts when the wind gets wild. From inside, it's invisible. From outside, it looks like defiance in a box. Tourists pose. Kids scream. Phones capture the moment where adrenaline meets gravity and dares you to stand still. Skywalk X China. Just a narrow platform bolted 764 feet in the sky, and a city sprawled out like a map below your boots. This is the Skywalk at Macau Tower. You're tethered to the outside of the tallest tower in Macau, leaning full body into a harness system as you edge around a 1.8-meter wide catwalk completely exposed. The wind doesn't whisper, it slaps. The drop doesn't threaten, it dares. And with no barrier between you and oblivion, every step is a test of nerve. It's not built for selfies. It's built for control freaks to lose it. AJ Hackett, the same crew that turned bungee jumping into a global phenomenon, carved this out in 2002. Not for gamblers, not for gawkers, but for the vertical obsessed. The people who don't just want to see a city, they want to walk its sky. Macau's known for roulette wheels and poker faces. But this is for the kind of person who steps onto a ledge, stares down a 233-meter fall, and keeps walking like gravity's just a rumor. New Rockefeller Center attraction. New York doesn't whisper, it elevates. Skylift at Rockefeller Center takes riders 900 feet above Midtown on a rotating glass capsule perched atop the 70th floor. The structure rises from the observation deck like a telescope unfurling, lifting up to 13 passengers inside a clear 6-foot enclosure that spins slowly as the city unfolds beneath. This isn't a quick launch or free fall, it's a deliberate ascent, a measured climb that exposes every corner of the skyline with surgical precision. The capsule turns, shifting perspective from Central Park's emerald grid to the Hudson's metallic sweep, from the Empire State Spire to bridges stretched like steel ribbons across the East River. LED light pulses beneath the chamber, reflecting against glass walls and amplifying the sense of suspension above the city grid. The ride is smooth, but the stillness is deceptive. Every slow rotation reminds the body that it's suspended hundreds of feet in the open air. Opened in 2023, Skylift reframes the Rockefeller observation deck into an orbital theater, proving once again that Manhattan doesn't just build landmarks, it builds vantage point. Kamtar Skywalk, Malaysia. Suspended in a glass horseshoe above Georgetown, the Kamtar Skywalk pushes visitors 816 feet into the open air. The walkway juts out from the 68th floor of Penang's tallest skyscraper, a 16-meter loop of tempered glass engineered to hold its ground against weight, wind, and vertigo. The structure curves out into space, leaving nothing beneath but the city grid, the coastline, and the slow bend of Penang Hill in the distance. Each step forward strips away solid ground, replacing it with a crystal-clear view of streets, rooftops, and traffic moving far below. The sensation is sharp, precise, part architecture, part psychology, built to make the mind wrestle with exposure. At night, city lights scatter across the glass like stars, turning the walkway into a luminous frame for the skyline. By day, the horizon stretches toward the sea, with suburbs and hills cutting patterns against the sky. Opened in 2016 as part of a massive facelift for Comtar, the Skywalk remains Malaysia's highest outdoor glass bridge. It isn't just an observation point, it's a suspended stage where engineering and altitude turn an urban landmark into a test of balance and composure. Cliff Edge Swing China. The ground drops away in a heartbeat, and gravity takes over like a sledgehammer. 1 second, it's solid footing. The next, pure void. A lone rider rockets out from the edge of a vertical cliff in southern China, strapped into a swing, flung straight into the mist. The swing doesn't build, it launches, full force into nothing. Just steel cables, raw air, and the unfiltered chaos of a 1,000-foot free arc. The crowd doesn't gasp, they roar. This isn't some gentle park ride. This is Wansheng's cliff swing, part psychological warfare, part engineering flex. One staffer launches the riders by hand, adding an old-school touch to an otherwise modern death wish, and with nothing but fog and sheer drop ahead, the brain short-circuits between thrill and survival mode. There's no visual anchor, no ground to aim for, just the echo of screams bouncing off rock walls. The push lasts seconds, the adrenaline, hours. It's built over an ancient Ordovician rock formation, but the fear it stirs is brutally current. The glass bridge nearby? That's for Instagram. This thing is for the kind of people who look fear in the face and lean in. There's extreme, and then there's dangling off a cliff while laughing like a maniac. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content that keeps you learning and growing. Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Keep pushing forward, and I'll see you in the next one.